Welcome to the New Process Podcast. Learn all the tools, methods, and best practices combined with people, emotions, and a human-centric mindset to rethink your process and push it to the next level. And here is your host, Mirko Kloppenberg.
Yeah, welcome to episode 60 of the New Process Podcast. And a happy new year to all of you. Today, it's all about the top BPM Topics 2025. To collect these topics, I've invited you to participate in a survey a few weeks ago. And more than 100 people from the New Process community took this opportunity. Thank you so much. That's so cool. Today, I'm going to share the results with you. But I will not only share the results of the survey with you, I've also asked some of the top BPM creators and thought leaders to share their top BPM topics with us. So, in this episode, you will learn what the top BPM topics for 2025 are and what you can do about them. If you haven't had these topics on your radar yet, you should definitely double check whether they are relevant to you or not. So it's a must-listen episode to get 2025 started.
And now, let's start to rethink processes.
Yeah, 2025, let's do this. But before we look into the future, let's quickly recap my New Process year 2024. Actually, already the fourth year of the New Process approach and my third year working full-time on rethinking processes. For me, it was a real roller coaster ride in which I achieved many things that I had planned for a long time. Yeah, the year kicked off by founding mCarboc Process Experiences as a company, as my new legal platform for all activities to get people excited about processes. In April, we celebrated the New Process Conference with about 50 people in Seeheim, in person, with so much experience and excitement to rethink processes. For me, it was super cool to meet all of you in person after talking to so many of you just online for years. And thank you so much to all of you who made the way to Seeheim to be at this New Process experience, I would say. In June, I launched the BPM Navigator program, which is a structured 12-week online program to guide you with your individual challenges to push your process to the next level. So it doesn't matter what challenges you have on your list right now. We pick this in the first meeting, have a closer look onto, and I provide you my feedback, all my experience, my ideas, and I accompany you for 12 weeks to work on these challenges. Yeah. In October, BPM.today was released. 10 years after registering the domain BPM.today, my AI-assisted BPM news site finally aggregates all the latest BPM podcasts, blogs, videos, and more for you. And it even sends you a weekly email with all the news of the past week, so you'll never miss a cool BPM news topic, whatever, again in the future. So in November, a long-time dream came true. I've been talking about this for years, and I finally made it. The Pizza Game 3.0 came out, and now you can use it to get people excited about processes in a gamified, super fun way without the need of hiring me as your game master. Yeah, just check that out. Go to newprocesslab.com/pizzagame. It's a super cool way to get people excited about processes. In 2024, I also worked on some amazing projects and helped customers to establish a process culture in the organization, to get people excited about processes, to implement a human-centric BPM framework with everything which belongs together, like the process of process management, BPM role concept, like how do we define the role of the process owner? How does this interact with the existing functional organization, for example? I helped customers to model processes that the people really understand and they accept as their baby and they fight for. I also I trained a lot of process owners and architects to manage their processes. That was so cool. So thank you very much for working with me in 2024. And thanks to this podcast, I was able to interview exciting experts and learn how to use their experience, their expertise to rethink processes. I found out a lot about storytelling, different generations, psychology, thinking with my hands, process culture, and lately about how BPM can prevent burnout. And to deep dive into these topics, we've added live sessions with the experts on our community platform, New Process Pro. For example, there will be another deep dive session with my latest podcast guest, Professor Dr. Eugene Bogodistov, on how BPM can prevent burnout. This will take place in January. If you want to be part of that session, just go to newprocesslab.com/burnout. That's probably not the best URL, but I think it's easy to remember. So newprocesslab.com/burnout. Yes, thank you so much for being part of this journey in 2024. But now it is time to point our thoughts to the future. As I said, I will share the results of my survey with you in this episode. But before we do this, I would like to share some impulses with you. Therefore, I've asked some top BPM creators and thought leaders to share their BPM topics for 2025 with you. So take some notes. Get your pen ready. There will be a lot of impulses in this episode. We are going to kick this off with Caspar and Russell Gumersall from the BPM 360 podcast. Besides that podcast, Caspar is Director Celonis Process Management at Celonis, and Russell is Senior Partner at BP Experts, a management consulting company for business process management solutions.
So Merkel, take notice. I'll kick us off with the first one. Russell, try the 2 minutes, go on. I think the first trend will be a shift in focus from formal manual process documentation into much more AI-supported, whatever kind of input it is, get it into a BPM platform type of activity.
So AI is the buzzword, and I think 2025 is going to bring real, concrete, tangible tools in that perspective. One of the big bottlenecks we've always talked about in BPM is, this modeling, and do we really need it? I think here AI and the data-driven approach will definitely have a big impact on the way people go about process management.
Yes. So that's number one. Do you want to do number two?
We've been to the conventions around Celonis and Signavio. It's definitely a convergence of process management and process mining. Providers have on a technical platform provided it, but organizationally, have they really been growing together? It's been two tribes running around doing their thing. That convergence, I think, is really becoming real, not just on a tool capability from that perspective, but on use cases, organizations, and the whole concepts behind this. It's converging, which I think is a fantastic topic.
Very well. And then number three from Merkel from the BPM 360 podcast crew is going to be a increased focus, or let me say an introduction of the object centricity idea into the process management part. So we already have it in the process mining side, and there's object-centric process mining, which is absolutely fantastic functionality. I don't see any reason why that should not be introduced into the process management side of things. So it's easier also to go back to your second point, Russell, to bring them together. I think those are the three, and then we stay right into the 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caspar and Russell. Actually, I'm not sure if there has been a limit, but it's great that you compressed your topics 2025 into 2 minutes to keep it on point. Yeah, AI supported BPM. That's a super interesting topic, and we'll have a closer look onto that for sure. BPM and process mining converging, coming more closely together. Actually, for me, process mining has always been a part of process management, of the toolbox of process architects, for example. But I know that some people have experienced it in a different way. So let's bring this together. And I'm curious, introducing the object-centric idea from process mining into process management, how this will really look like. So tell us more about it. Caspar and Russell, thank you so much for your topics. So next we have Christoph Piller, Matus and Daniel Matka from the German language podcast, Die Prozess-Philosophen.
Welcome, guys. We are the Process Philosophers, and our BPM highlights for 2025 are Christoph.
I think the most important thing will be the integration and the usage of AI within the entire the entire area of BPM. So not only about how can AI help me with creating BPM models, or how can AI help me with analyzing a process, but really the entire area of strategic BPM thinking. How can AI support me with BPM, process automation, within the area of process mining, that stuff. I think this will be the trend for 2025. Matus, your turn.
Yeah, thank you very much, Christoph. I think it would be education. So we are challenging the growing knowledge gap. So I think slowly we have to prepare how we want to, solve this problem. So really fighting the knowledge gaps in the process area, find out what kind of new buzzwords are coming, new technologies, and really enable your people, learn your people. So that would be from my side, starting in 2025 and coming next couple of years. Daniel.
Guys, I think it's back to the basics. Everyone is struggling with automation. AI is not delivering what we expect from AI. That's why back to basics, review the process landscape, analyze the processes which really matters and which have a high impact, and then start building the knowledge, bringing the best tools in the game, and then let's start once again and level up the process game to the next level. So back to the basics and a little bit from the Matus perspective, education, and the topic, or like the sweetness in the end, would be like a little bit AI, but I'm not sure that AI would be really the best solution for all. So let's see.
Perfect, guys. So wish you all the best in 2025 and fight well against the BPM and new trends.
See you around, guys.
Yes.
Bye.
Mirko, thank you for your invitation.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys, thank you for posting your topics. So again, AI in BPM, obviously a topic. Then, as Matus named, BPM education to fight the knowledge gaps. Yeah, that's definitely something we all have to fight for, work on, to educate the people on how to use BPM. And as Daniel said, back to the basics. That's something I'm also seeing there. First, think about the basics before we can think about more advanced topics. Cool. Thanks for this. So the next contribution comes from Björn Richerzhagen. He is founder and CEO of the BPM consulting company Minautics, based in Berlin. And he's also host of the WorkflowAnalytica conference.
Hi Mirko, this is Björn Richerzhagen from Minautics in Berlin. My top BPM topics for the upcoming months and maybe years are the following. We see the uprising of the SDMN standard by the OMG. It's a standard that tries to clarify and unify the usage of data in the modeling standards of CMMN, DMN, and BPMN, and we see that as a beneficial contribution to clarify how data works if those standards are used in combination. Furthermore, we see that artificial intelligence will focus on more value-creating usage scenarios in the companies. In the recent months, we saw that AI basically showed its capabilities on a broader range or in the broader sense. And now companies offering AI solutions are looking at value-creating activities that are crucial and beneficial for companies to prove that AI actually creates value for the company. The third thing that comes into my mind is process mining. We see that our customers have made some experience with process mining, and the magic kind of ends. Those companies realize that process mining is not the savior for all process-related issues, may not replace process discovery, may not replace auditing. It is considered a beneficial tool that helps and assists all those activities, but cannot completely replace them. And furthermore, the last one that comes into my mind is that we see a movement in the market for software vendors. We see that there is a vertical integration of what was formerly a best-of-breed vendor. For example, those RPA vendors that have moved into the process mining space, or process mining vendors that have moved into the process automation space. And we'll be curious what that will result into once this market change has been completed.
Yeah, thank you, Björn. Love it. AI, process mining, and also your hint regarding the changes in the tool market are super valuable. So thank you very much. This leads us to a person whose opinion cannot be missing. It's the godfather of process mining. So here are the top BPM topics 2025 of Professor Dr. Wil van der Aalst.
Hi, here is Wil van der Aalst, professor at RWTH Aachen University and the chief scientist of Celonis. My top BPM topic for 2025 is no enterprise AI without object-centric process mining. Traditional process mining has evolved into process intelligence, and process intelligence includes object-centric event data, powerful object-centric process mining capabilities, a business context defining key performance indicators and normative process models, and predictive and generative AI capabilities. Organizations want to apply artificial intelligence and machine learning, but struggle to apply this at the enterprise level. Many organizations see this problem. Of course, simple tasks like producing reports, PowerPoints, responding to messages, and creating scripts can be supported using generative AI. However, this does not help you to address process-related problems at the enterprise level. You first need to make sure that you have event data, and these are system agnostic, cross-process, and cross-platform. These event data can be used to create end-to-end process models, and the combination can be used to unleash AI at the enterprise level. Once you have seen the power of combining object-centric process mining and artificial intelligence, you cannot unsee it. Therefore, I encourage everyone to check out our recent work and apply these powerful new possibilities in the new year.
Yeah, thank you very much, Will. Super interesting. I really appreciate your contribution to the top BPM topics 2025. And I'm curious how AI and process mining will develop in 2025. We continue with the person who is pushing BPM, especially in Spain and Latin America. Here comes Pedro Robledo with his BPM topics for 2025.
Hello, I am Pedro Robledo, president of ABPMP Spain, a consultant with over 23 years of experience in business process management, and the academic director of 2 postgraduate master's programs at University. For 2025, I believe the top BPM topics start with the impact of artificial intelligence at all levels. Generative AI is revolutionizing BPM with application in process modeling, BPM maturity analysis using the business process maturity model, and enterprise transformation assessments. It's also enhancing BPM project management and business process improvement. In 2025, BPM software providers will integrate AI-driven features like ChatGPT and Copilot to streamline workflows. The second key area is process mining, particularly object-centric process mining, task mining, and what I call orchestrated process mining. Orchestrated process mining replaces business activity monitoring by leveraging process mining and workflow engines in BPMS. Third, we see the convergence of BPM with hyper-automation strategy, combining robotic process automation, low-code, no-code platforms, and AI to optimize operation. Finally, customer-centric BPM and sustainability are pivotal. Businesses are aligning processes with customer journeys and using BPM to achieve measurable ESG goals, driving both innovation and sustainable growth.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pedro. AI, process mining, automation seem to be the big topics. Thank you also for pointing out the importance of ESG in the context of BPM. I'll come back to this later. The next contributor is Martin Holding. Martin is head of process management at Kemner Bau, and he has been my guest on New Process podcast for 3 times already. Together, we not only reviewed the BPM tool market, but also recorded some BPM nerd episodes.
Hi, this is Martin Holding. My top BPM topic for 2025 remains, like in 2024, the integration of people and processes with a BPM culture and a clear strategy and role concept. In the end, every process only is as good and effective as the people involved in it will let it be. This is also why I will continue to invite the involved peoples to continually improve our processes together. It's the people in the process. It's not the process in automation that really brings the company forward. And therefore, I will still remain focusing on the culture and the people in the process to really deploy and implement a good process strategy in 2025.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution, Martin. Love it. People and processes. I think it's not surprising that I'm a big fan of the human-centric approach. Cool. Thank you very much. Next is Ya-Tin Nguyen, who has been my guest in episode 33, where we talked about change and transformation in complex organizations. And maybe you know T from his fantastic T with T series, where I also had the honor of being his guest. T is working as Vice President SAP Signavio for SAP in Singapore, and here are his topics 2025.
Hi there, my name is Ya-Tin Nguyen, and my BPM topic for 2025? Well, actually not so different for 2024 or 2026 going forward. The what has not changed so much, but the how has tremendously. So, continuing on the need to bring people, process, applications and data together, I'm excited to see how a shift from use cases with generative AI will move from support processes to core processes, from making more with less to creating cool new things. How the discussion from talking about value will shift to showcasing value. I'm excited to see how the agility for new processes due to geopolitical changes will be tested. Rerouting of supply chains to loophole some new tariffs while thinking of implementing new manufacturing networks in forgotten patches of the world. All of this is a process, and all of this is a part of BPM as well. And at the edge, we humans have to make new kind of decisions like the following. Will we invest in better processes of collaboration to find the cure for cancer? Or should we actually invest into AI to create the process of curing cancer? I'm excited to see how we come to the inevitable decision. It's both, and not only.
Thank you much, T. It's both and not only. I just love the way you are thinking. Oh, cool. So, finally, we have J.M. Erlandson and Roland Wald from the What's Your Baseline podcast. But listen for yourself.
Hi, folks. It's J.M. Erlandson from the What's Your Baseline podcast. And I'm here with my friend Roland Wald. And we're here to talk a little bit about what the 2025 topics should be for the new process community. And I got to tell you, my number one topic for 2025 is actually operationalizing AI in BPM practices. Roland, is it just tricks? Is it real? What's going on here?
Oh boy, first of all, I'm not sure if there will be a 2025, given the current state of affairs. But there's also the question, if it is, should our wish be to have a little private island, so that your AI overlords don't enslave us?
Well, here's the thing. I like the idea of AI as a specific intelligence that can help to augment some of the tasks. But over and over again, I see people proposing AI like it's magic.
Yeah.
And they don't really understand how to ingrain it in a way of working for their process practices. It's just a trick, a tool that's kind of understood halfway. I think in 2025, we're going to see a lot of stability in the AI. We have some more specialization in the AI, so focused models towards company problems, and ultimately ways of making that a part of your everyday that makes sense for a team. No more shadow AI, AI as a standard.
I agree. I think AI still is a problem in search. No, it's a solution in search of a problem, right? This way. And I don't know why any vendor just jumps on it without thinking, oh, we must have this to be competitive. I would rather see people taking a step back and asking the question, why do we do this, right? Why do we do process management? Why do we do architecture? And then how do we measure success? And then maybe we bring in a little tool that helps us in whatever, generating diagrams and stuff.
Great, Roland. But I think you're looking to tell a little bit of a prediction for 2025 for this new process community. What you got on your sleeve?
You buy me a red sports car for Christmas, JM?
Hey, listen, if we do well enough in the social stats, we'll talk.
Okay, good. Promise. Everybody heard it. I'm all for it. So prediction for 2025. It actually doesn't have to do with processes so far. I think what we're going to see is more on the market side. We see a bunch of consolidation coming down the pipe. So
you think there's more to happen, really?
Oh yeah. Look at the different vendors that we have without naming names. There's one big vendor who sold everything but their process tool. Right? Yes, exactly, those guys. And then there's smaller vendors who I know that they're up for sale, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that mean, right? It means maybe lack of possibility, lack of opportunity for users. It means fewer ideas being embedded in the tool. What is it, right, JM? What's your opinion on this?
I think that the vendors that are smaller are getting squeezed out by some folks who have more venture capital to invest in marketing. So the way they need to stand out and differentiate themselves, it's not always just technology. Sometimes it's like force multipliers of scale. So consolidation, mergers, particularly mergers, are going to help to make these smaller vendors really play at a larger scale. And that's going to be important to compete, particularly when everyone's looking at the Magic Quadrant and wondering who's in the top right and should I only talk to those folks?
Well, if there was a Magic Quadrant for process tools. But I get your point. So, Mirko, here you have it. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, guys. I think it's going to be very interesting what the market consolidation in 2025 will bring. And thank you also for your views on AI in BPM. Love it. And also for adding some music to your contribution. Oh, super smooth. Maybe I should do that more in the future for my podcast as well. Okay, I'll wrap up all your contributions in the recap of this episode. For now, a big thank you to all of the experts for sharing your topics for 2025. And now we're coming to the results of the new process survey with the topics that are on the list of the new process community. So on your list. First, let me tell you a bit more about the setup. As you probably know, I've conducted the survey as an online survey in November. It primarily focused on the question of what you are working on right now and what you have on your list for 2025. The questions were quite open and could be answered in a free form text. After the end of the survey, I've read every single answer and categorized it. So if an answer covered several topics, it was counted in every of the named categories. Some things like AI or automation were easy to identify. Others were harder to interpret and categorize. But yeah, somehow I made it. In addition, I also asked ChatGPT to analyze the results. But to be honest, this led to way less differentiated results and countless uncategorized answers. I don't know why, but ChatGPT just said this is uncategorized, and for nearly, I would say 60% of the answers, because they were so diverse. So I decided to stick with my own interpretation here. The survey attracted a diverse group of participants with a significant representation from Europe, particularly from the DACH region, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, which accounts for over half of the respondents, so exactly 57% to be precise. Other contributions came from the Netherlands, 9%, the United States, 6%, and Australia, 5%. But also participants from India, Jamaica, Cyprus, Singapore, Ecuador, Haiti, and more are reflecting a truly international perspective on BPM trends in this survey. So in total, 101 fellow BPM enthusiasts completed the survey. Thank you so much. That's the biggest number of participants ever that we have for the new process survey. 14% are BPM users, such as process owners, process architects, or process managers. 17% are responsible for the operation of BPM in their organization. 22% are internal BPM consultants within their company. And 26% of the participants work as BPM consultants for other companies. So the other participants are researchers, tool vendors, and a mix of these roles. But now, what are the results? What are the BPM Topics 2025? As I said, I've read all your answers, grouped and categorized them to find the big topics. In total, 33 different categories were identified, but I will only point out the ones with more than 10 mentions. This year, we have 4 big topics, and I will explain why later in the episode. So we start with topic number 4. This is the massive topic of process mining. So with more than 17%, the application of process mining is on the agenda of numerous companies, but not too much, or it was already a surprise for me last year. The numbers slightly improved by 2%, but it is still a quite low percentage. Sure, it is a topic for the more mature BPM implementations, and you definitely need a certain process culture established. But as discussed in the New Process podcast episode with Jean-Marc Heriot, you should start early with process mining. Actually, I talked to him a few days before, and he has significantly weakened my view that you first need a process culture as a basis. He said that you can already solve specific problems with process mining and reap benefits without a broad process culture. So I think it's always good to jump back, maybe listen again to the episode with Jean-Marc, which was episode 41. If you go to newprocesslab.com/episode 41, you can get there directly. And I also recommend listening to the episode with Will van der Aalst, Godfather of Process Mining, which is episode 32. Just go to newprocesslab.com/episode 32 to jump to the episode directly. The third most named topic, named by 22 of all participants, is about modeling processes and designing process architecture. Yeah, modeling of processes, finding simple to use notation, mapping the processes, designing the process architecture, build up a process architecture, develop an end-to-end view of processes. Actually, the topic overall dropped from 32 in 2024 by 10% to just 22%. But I find it is so important to have a common picture, a common understanding of processes. So definitely this will remain on the list of the top topics. I just love it. Feel free to contact me to map your process together, to map the process in a way that people really understand the process and are excited about what they're doing there. I can also recommend to listening to episode with Kevin Tan, episode 31, and also to the episode with Walter Brill about UPN. That was episode 35. So again, just use the number of the episode for the URL, going to newprocesslab.com/episode 31 for Kevin or 35 for Walter. The second most named topic, named by 46% of all participants, is about process improvement. Yeah, process improvement is quite huge topic, could be anything. But to be more specific, I've added subcategories to this. Like 23% of the participant named artificial intelligence as a method to improve processes. They want to apply AI to processes to improve processes specifically. So using AI in BPM was named by 23% of the participants. There is also in New Process podcast episode on that with Benjamin Daunt, which is episode 29. And the second big topic within the process improvement space for sure is process automation. 26% of the participants named application of process automation for 2025 as one of their topics. And there are also two New Process podcast episodes, one with Daniel Matka and one with Nico Bitzer. You might listen to again. So the one with Daniel is episode 39. With Nico, it's episode 36. And finally, the challenge, which is on the list of 68% of all participants, is the wide field of, that's how my co-analyst ChatGPT calls it, building a process-driven organization. So 68% of the participants named topics that all contribute to building a process-driven organization. In 2024, the biggest topic I called, which was the one with 64, so quite similar percent of the participants, inspire people for processes as topic number one. But this year, I would like to handle this topic a bit more differentiated and sum up the following subtopics within this area. So within building a process-driven organization, we have subtopics like get employees excited about processes, get top management excited about processes and demonstrate the impact of BPM. We have development and implementation of a BPM framework as part of contributing to building a process-driven organization. We have enable BPM roles, train process owners, architects, and so on. Establish a process-oriented management approach. Develop process culture. That's a huge topic within this. So there are many subtopics that all contribute to building a process-driven organization, which is overall the biggest topic, because 68% of the participants named something that is contributing to building a process-driven organization. And by the way, only 7% named the implementation or selection and implementation of a BPM tool as a topic on their list. So that's super interesting for the vendors out there, that only a very small number of participants has this on the list for 2025. Actually, we are addressing a lot of these topics contributing to building a process-driven organization with all the new process activities. Like one example to get people excited about processes is the pizza game for sure, which came out lately. Yeah, so these were the results. More in the recap. For now, Thank you so much for participating in the survey, posting your topics. Thank you for the expert topics, thought leaders, and so on. That's super cool to have all your contributions for 2025.
Let's recap today's new process inspiration.
Yeah, so first of all, a big thank you again to all of you who participated in the survey. You're just awesome. I love working with you, with the international new process community. A big thank you also to all the BPM thought leaders who shared their topics in the podcast. As a summary of the thought leaders' contribution, I'd like to point out the following 5, I would call it key BPM trends for 2025. So the first big one is the AI-driven BPM integration, I would say. So AI will play a central role in process mining, documentation, modeling, shifting focus from efficiency gains to innovation and real value creation. I think that's super important to get to more value creation based on AI and not just bullshit bingo here. Then data integration and object-centric process mining, or process mining in general, seems to be a super big topic from expert point of view. Then we also had aspects contributing to human-centric BPM. The emphasis on people's active participation, collaboration, prioritizing human over automation to drive sustainable process improvement, for example, process implementation. And then a number of experts talked about the market consolidation. So we will see for sure an increased consolidation, and AI will also play a bigger role in this context. I'm curious where this will really lead to. And the fifth key trend there is more the strategic process foundations, back to basics, as Daniel said, approach, focusing more on the fundamentals of business process management, ensuring a stable foundation before implementing advanced technologies like AI, like process mining, like automation. So focusing on the basics, combining that with human-centric approach, that's super cool. And finally, here comes a brief recap of the top 4 topics from the new process community. So topic number 4 is process mining. That matches to what the expert said. Process mining is definitely a topic. Surprisingly, still not so often named by you as the expert out there, as the ones applying BPM to an organization. So only 17% named process mining, but it's still one of the big 4 topics. The third topic is process modeling and designing process architecture, 22%. Interestingly, process modeling wasn't really named by the experts and thought leaders, but it's still super valuable and for me super important to have this common picture, common understanding of a process. Then we have this huge field of process improvement with 46%, containing automation and AI. Both topics are also named by the experts, especially AI. But comparing the numbers from the survey with the experts' contributions, so only 23% of the survey participants named AI as a topic that they have on the list for 2025. But nearly all BPM thought leaders named this. So that's interesting that we have this gap here. And finally, the big topic of building a process-driven organization. So get people excited about process, get top management excited about process, demonstrate the impact of BPM, enable trained BPM roles like process owners and so on, develop and implement a BPM framework, establish process-oriented management approach, develop process culture. So these are the big topics on your list. Actually, the ranking of the topics is not so relevant to me. It's more important that you double check your own topics with the list. So to make sure you not miss a critical thing. Basically starting with all the basics, like building a process-driven organization, but also double check how you would sort AI, process mining, automation, modeling into your roadmap for 2025. To learn more about the topics, you can take a look at the report which I generated based on the results of the survey, the results of the expert contributions at New Process Pro. So in this report, I will share more details on the topics and also resources to learn more. To get to the report, just go to newprocesslab.com/topics2025. This will lead you to New Process Pro. Maybe you will have to sign up for New Process Pro first, but just type in newprocesslab.com/topics2025. As consequences for my activities, I'd like to share with you what I'm going to do. I will consider the following points for 2025. So first, and that's probably super interesting for half of you, due to the fact that half of the New Process community, obviously based on the survey results, speaks German, I will create more bilingual content in the future. So definitely I'll continue my English content because I love the international community and I would rather not exclude anyone, but I will also offer my content in German in addition to the English content. So as a first step, I'll add the possibility for you to switch the New Process updates on my newsletter to German in the future. I'll invite you to switch as soon as it's available via the New Process update itself. So just make sure that you are subscribed to my newsletter by going to newprocesslab.com/update. Second, I will keep the topics process mining, modeling, AI, and automation on my radar and try to challenge these from a human-centric perspective more and more. All of them are super important, super relevant to be applied, and I will help you to stay up to date with these topics as well. So always from a human-centric perspective for sure. And third, I will focus even more on the basic topics, such as getting people and top management excited about processes, demonstrate the benefit of BPM. And then as soon as the people are excited, we're going to develop and implement a human-centric BPM framework. So I'm going to focus on the framework a bit more this year. I will also focus on enabling BPM roles such as process owners and architects because they are so important to get the system flying. This all will contribute to establishing a process-oriented management approach and developing process culture. So definitely I'll focus on these topics. By the way, one surprising result of the survey is that the topic of sustainability is hardly playing a role to date. So Pedro Robledo mentioned it, but at a time when ESG, so environment, social, and governance, is becoming increasingly important, this topic remains somehow underrepresented. Just 2%, two participants, to be precise, named sustainability or ESG overall in their answers. Maybe this is something to explore in the future and to share with you via New Process update, for example. Okay, that's it. So finally, if you are interested to learn more, as I said, just go to newprocesslab.com/topics2025. Or even better, we'll have another deep dive session on the topics 2025. To get the date and to register for the session and so on, just also go to newprocesslab.com/topics2025. There will be a way to sign up for the deep dive session as well. There we can discuss the results, add your opinions, ask questions, and so on. But that's it for today. I would like to thank you all, and I would like to wish you all the best for your BPM journey in 2025. I'm super curious what highlights this year will bring. If you would like to be part of my 2025 highlights, I'd like to invite you to work with me this year. To do so, just send me an email at mirko@newprocesslab.com or set up a meeting to explore the options by going to newprocesslab.com/meetmirko. Yeah. Thank you much for listening to this episode. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic 2025. Bye-bye und auf Wiedersehen.
You've been listening to the New Process Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode for more tools, methods, and best practices to rethink your process and push it to the next level. Thank you for listening.
Before you leave, there is just one thing you should do after listening to the podcast. Please sign up to the New Process update to never miss news on how to rethink processes again. And as I said, the New Process update will be available in German too quite soon. So to do so, just go to newprocesslab.com/update. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. One more thing. If you are a frequent listener, you know that I'm talking a lot about the pizza game. In the past, this was only available with me as your game master. But now, you can get your own version of the pizza game to get people excited about processes without me as your game master. The pizza game is a business game to let people experience the benefit of processes. You just hand over a process model on how to bake pizza. The players make themselves familiar with the process and start producing pizza with paper, Post-its, scissors, and for sure a red pen for the tomato sauce. It's a really fun way to experience how to execute a completely unknown process just based on a process model. To learn more, go to newprocesslab.com/pizza game. The game is available in English, in German, and in a few days also in French, and maybe more languages too. So get your pizza game to get your people excited about processes. Just go to newprocesslab.com/pizza game.